Well, good morning, everybody. Yesterday, in the announcement, I talked a little bit about the preamble, and today we really want to kind of break it down and look at, what exactly does the preamble say, and what do all those words mean. So we're going to just break this down phrase by phrase, and it starts with "we the people." And you've probably heard that before, but it's really important because it indicates that this was written for the people and it was written by the people of the United States. Now, obviously, every single person wasn't in the room when it was written, but they wanted to be sure that it was clearly understood that this wasn't one person or one small group of people doing what they wanted to do, but this was done for everybody. And the next phrase was, "in order to form a more perfect union." Now, as you learn in Unit 3, Articles of Confederation, which came before the Constitution, was a little bit limited. It had its good points, but it also had its limitations. So they wanted to clearly indicate that they were writing the Constitution to make our country better and stronger. All right, the next phrase was "to establish justice." Now keep in mind, many of them still remembered all they went through with England and all the events that led up to the Revolutionary War, and they remembered that in some cases they were not being treated justly, so they wanted to be sure that that did not happen again. There's a great quote, and I don't know who wrote it. I know Dr. King used it a lot. But it says, "Lessons of the past help guide the present and shape the future." So always remember that things that you learn about history, it's important for you to know them because it'll help you to understand things that are going on right now, and you can use what you learn to help make the future better. The next phrase is "ensure domestic tranquility." Now, the word domestic basically means home, here at home, and tranquility basically means peace. So they wanted to be sure that within our borders, here in our country, that we had and maintained peace. You'll learn about Shays' Rebellion in Unit 3, and this is something that kind of influenced this phrase in the preamble. Because they didn't want to have infighting amongst ourselves. Right, next phrase, "provide for the common defense." So that really talks about, again, about defending our country. And they really wanted to be sure, states shouldn't have to defend themselves. And it would be kind of crazy if each state had their own army and their own set of rules. So they really felt that we needed to have, a common defense for everybody. And they just got through the Revolutionary War, so they wanted to be sure. They still feared that there could be more attacks, and they wanted to be sure that we were prepared for it. All right, next is "promote the general welfare." Okay, and that really, again, just goes back to the "we the people" part. Since everyone is invested of it, we wanted to be sure, or the framers wanted to be sure, that they indicated that the well-being of all citizens was very important. Everyone had to work together. No one was better or worse than the other, that type of thing. All right, and the next phrase, "secure the blessings of liberty," and then it continues, "for ourselves and to our posterity." They fought really hard to get the rights that they got, and they really believed that what they received and the rights and the liberties that they received were a blessing. And they wanted to keep it. And not only did they want to keep it for themselves, but they wanted to be sure that their kids and their grandkids and their great-grandkids had the same rights, had the same blessings of liberty that they fought so hard for. So they indicated that they not only wanted to preserve what they had for themselves, but also for future generations. All right, and the final phrase, do ordain and establish this Constitution. So they've created it, they've established it, they've ordained it, they've given their stamp of approval to it. And again, this goes back to the very beginning, we the people. It reinforces the fact that this was written not just for one person or one group of people, but for everybody. Everyone had a part in it. So I hope this helps you to understand the preamble a little bit better, and it kind of sets the tone. It basically sets the groundwork that everything that we're going to put in the Constitution is going to be driven by all these things that are in the preamble. So in the next couple of days, I want you to think about which phrase in there was most important to you and why is it important. And you may get another lesson on this, and I may have you do a little project, so stay tuned. I'll send you information later. Thanks a lot.